Now let's talk about Israel's opponents. Israel is not fighting a single enemy. It's not even a two-front war. Israel is dealing with multiple opponents in multiple countries, all linked together by one player, Iran. Israel has the latest weapons, unmatched intelligence, and American support. Iran, on the other hand, has its proxies, the so-called axis of resistance, or as Israel likes to call it, the axis of evil.
I would like to send the condolences from the bottom of my heart to the families of our heroes who fell today in Lebanon. May their memory be blessed and they rest in peace. We are at the height of a difficult war against Iran's axis of evil, which wants to destroy us.
Yesterday, Netanyahu sent his condolences to the families of 8 Israeli soldiers who died in Lebanon. They were killed during the ground operation in Lebanon's south, in an on-ground battle against Hezbollah. On the other side, you had Hezbollah doing some chest thumping.
Today, our forces fought in the first heroic battle this morning in Al-Adessa and also in Maroun al-Ras, minutes before the start of this presser. What happened today is only the beginning of what awaits the occupation forces. The leadership of Hezbollah will follow the promise of the Sayed Nasrallah himself and will rebuild in a way that will be better and more beautiful than they were before.
Hassan Nasrallah is dead, but that does not mean that the Hezbollah is down and out. They still have thousands of fighters, tens of thousands of rockets, which they continue to fire into Israel. Yes, Israel has the upper hand, but invading Lebanon won't be easy, no matter the technological advantage. Ask the Americans how their occupation of Afghanistan went against the apparently backward and impoverished Taliban. It shows you how hard it is to occupy foreign territory with a hostile population. And while Israel marches north, it also has to watch the south for Iranian proxy number 2, the Houthi rebel group.
The Air Force of the Yemeni Armed Forces carried out a military operation targeting a vital target in the Jaffa area in occupied Palestine using a number of Jaffa-type drones. The operation successfully achieved its objectives by the grace of God, with the drones reaching their targets without the enemy being able to intercept or shoot them down.
The Houthis were once considered bit-part players in the region. Their influence was limited to Yemen, where Iran had been fighting a proxy war with the Saudis. But then the October 7th attack took place, and the Houthis started attacking ships in the Red Sea. That is how they shot to international fame. And even now, they're sticking to this tried and tested strategy. They have warned of what they call a new phase of their campaign. They're actually sending emails to shipping companies, warning them to steer clear. The reason is obvious. They want to disrupt trade. It's not about sinking ships. The Houthis just want to cause problems for Israel any way they can. The Houthis are also firing missiles and drones at Israel. But this isn't as effective as the Red Sea attack. So barring the odd drone here or there, they leave the conventional fighting to the other proxies.
The Yemeni armed forces salute the heroic mujahideen on the fronts of Gaza and the West Bank, as well as the fronts of Lebanon and Iraq, and affirm their continuation in carrying out military operations against the Israeli enemy until the aggression is stopped and the siege on the Gaza Strip is lifted, as well as stopping the aggression on Lebanon.
Let's look at all these different fronts that he mentioned. You have 2 proxies in Gaza. It's not just Hamas. You also have the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, or PIJ. Now, these 2 groups operate independently, but sometimes they do come together, like we saw during the October 7th attack last year. That's one. Then there's the Hezbollah in Lebanon, the most powerful of Iran's proxies. Next door in Syria, you have the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine, or PFLP. It was officially a political party like Hamas and Hezbollah, but it also has its own armed wing, the Abu Ali Mustafa Brigades. They are among a number of Iran-backed militias in Syria, which is why you see Israel bombing Damascus every so often. Then there is Iraq, where you have the Popular Mobilization Forces. This is a coalition of armed groups with various mandates and operations. But among them, you have anti-Israel factions, like the Kataib Hezbollah, which is another Iranian proxy. And rounding off the list are the Houthis in Yemen. So that's what Israel is dealing with. Iran-backed groups in Lebanon, Gaza, Yemen, Syria, and Iraq. They make up The axis of resistance or evil depends on who you support.
Firstpost decodes the U.S. election. Explains how America chooses its president. Your primer on the race to the White House. Everything you need to know about how America votes and its global implications. U.S. Election Explained. Every Monday and Thursday only on Firstpost.